Hey, what's up, you guys? This is WD3, and this is your Hill Report Newsbreak. Uh, Welcome to the winning Thursday. That's right, a winning Thursday. Thank God it's Thursday. You guys out there working hard, shout out to you guys. But lots going on in the news to sports. Uh, it looks like we're headed in Major League Baseball to a Yankees-Dodger clash once again. Those have always been very classic World Series. Whenever I was growing up, I just remember Dodgers and Yankees, and it always was something special. The contrasts in cities and East Coast versus West Coast, definitely gonna be a great matchup if those guys hold to their leads. Dodgers currently up 2-1 in their National League Championship Series against the New York Mets. Mets want to make it an all New York's World Series. Uh, the New York Yankees are cruising against the Cleveland Guardians, formerly the Cleveland Indians. Those guys are putting up a good fight, but the Yankees are a very strong team. NBA, very close to getting started. A lot of people are going to think it's weird to see Klay Thompson on the Mavericks, Bronny James playing with his dad on the Lakers. A lot of history going on that front, and the rumbling about Caitlin Clark no longer being in the WNBA, that is huge. Lots of fallout there. Uh, I believe she signed a contract agreeing to go to Europe, um, stating that the WNBA was a little too rough and the refs weren't protecting her. But I still think that she should stay in the WNBA and help build that league right here in our country. It makes too much sense. She's too transformative of a figure to just let go like that. Anyways, hopefully somebody will match that contract and give her some assurances that things are going to be okay. World news. War in the Middle East, as you guys know from our story yesterday and stories all over the web. Um, the American military has sent troops over to Israel. Huge development. Um, we are now entangled in the debacle against Hamas and Israel's surrounding neighbors, uh, which include, by extension, Russia and China. Definitely not anything that America has gotten into lightly. So, being that we're already in war in Ukraine, um, and what I would like for Donald Trump's campaign to do on the election beat, stop just talking about South American refugees or asylum seekers. What about the Ukrainians? Um, it makes it fair when you talk about everybody, because now folks are just thinking that the white refugees are fine, but any other race you're going to get a lot of pushback. That's not fair. um, but election is coming pretty soon. You all will decide. You know my stance: no reparation, no vote. But we do have great clips for you that's going to give you some insights into some of these stories. Check it out. Go through the clips with me. Comment, comment, comment. This is WD3, your Here Report News Break. Enjoy the show.
We're getting these Israeli reports that Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar may have been killed. They are as yet unconfirmed, and I understand the Israeli military is checking that possibility but says the identity cannot be confirmed. Just tell us what more, if anything, that you're hearing on the ground.
Well, I can see right now a photo. It's claiming that it's for the top Hamas leader, Yahya Sinwar. These reports were published only in the Israeli media, not from an official source yet. The Israeli military says they are verifying the possibility of eliminating Yahya Sinwar, but till now, no, the military wing of Hamas, neither the political branch of the movement had confirmed the elimination or the assassination of Yahya Sinwar. We need to remind our viewers that Yahya Sinwar is one of the top leaders who has been put wanted on the list of Palestinians who are on the list of elimination for the Israeli military, and as well has been looking for the elimination of Yahya Sinwar since the war began back in October, because they believe that he one of the people who masterminded the October.
Today's memorial service was held at St. Matthew's Cathedral in Washington. It's the same building Ethel's brother-in-law, former President John F. Kennedy, had his funeral service. In attendance today, 3 presidents right there in the front row: Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden. Former Massachusetts Senator John Kerry was also there, along with former Massachusetts Congressman Joe Kennedy III, who of course is Ethel's grandson. Former President Obama spoke about Ethel's fierce determination in the face of so much sadness.
Her life was marked by more tragedy and heartbreak than most of us could bear. And she would have been forgiven, I think, if at any point she had stepped away from public life or allowed bitterness to fester after all she and her family had been through. But that is not what Ethel did, because that's not who she was.
Today's service also included performances from music stars Kenny Chesney, Sting, and Stevie Wonder.
I own my own home, couple cars, you know what I mean? I got 4 kids, got a wife, beautiful wife at home. So to see it just all of a sudden disappear, wouldn't you be a little mad about that?
A Detroit auto worker is dying on the vine.
I've been here 4 years working hard. You want to give these jobs to other people so you can pay them less than what you're paying me. You shouldn't have never did that.
You can hear her in the streets. You can hear him in the bars. This is a UAW joint in Warren, Michigan. Stellantis, the European company that now owns Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler, is laying off 2,500 people at the factory right across the street. Whenever I go to a wake, I like to buy the family a drink.
Everybody that wants one. So what's this mean for people and their bills and everything?
It sucks. What you mean? What it mean? If people got to change their whole dynamic now. This is all up, and they've been there 30 years already. Come on, bro. Is that right? No, that ain't
I mean,
right.
you got all the bills outstanding, and all of a sudden it's yanked out.
Nah, it's yanked out.
Michigan is car country, so when an auto plant lays people off, the unemployment train starts to roll downhill. ABC Murray Sprockets has been here on 8 Mile Road more than 50 years.
By the magic of TV.
Charlie,
It's Bob.
They make gears for the assembly line. If the assembly line isn't churning out cars, then ABC might soon become see you later.
The way the country's going now, are you worried that you won't be the 4th generation?
No, I plan on being the 4th generation. I just hope it doesn't die with me.
Well, where's the hell is work going in this country?
It's going to shame. China.
Do you feel that the corporations and the political professionals have forgotten about you, this neighborhood, this state? Have they left you hanging?
I think our governor's left us hanging for sure. I don't think she cares about business in this state right here. She needs to.
Mark Kerniel has been a UAW member for 30 years. He says he'll be okay, but he says the political class has lost the working class.
Every political season, they're here. Kamala's here, Donald's here, and 2 years ago, nobody was here.
Yeah, there was no political pundits here at all, not even in your local cities, city council, either from Detroit or for Warren. You didn't see them until they needed us.
American taxpayers have given Stellantis billions of dollars in cash and incentives, and the Ram truck sells. It was the 2-time truck of the year. In fact, North America is Stellantis' most profitable division on the planet. So why, after a bruising strike last year, where temporary workers finally got a raise and became full-time workers, is the company now kicking them to the curb? I reached out to the CEO, Carlos Tavares, at his Portuguese farm. I wanted to ask Carlos why he gave himself a 50% raise while eating escargot as he's planning to let our cars go. I got nothing. So I went inside the Ram plant here in Warren to find the manager. No one to be found except this dude.
I had reached out to the company for some comment on the layoffs, and I didn't hear back, so I'm here now.
Okay, this is private property. You came from on here.
Shift change, working men and women. It isn't easy committing your life to a machine only to have it ripped away. Just listen.
So what's going to happen?
We all disappear,
Are you angry?
Everybody angry. Everybody's angry.
Are you scared?
I'm scared to death.
Just being punched after punch, it's just so hard, you know? It's like you just keep pushing us back.
Well, there's a new saying in Warren, Michigan. Next car I'm gonna get me is a Ford. That's right, a car I can afford.
Right.
To your future. To your future. Thank you. Cheers.
All right, News Nation special correspondent Charlie LaDuff joins us now. Charlie, where did those jobs go? Those 2,500 jobs? Did they go overseas? Did they go to automation here? Where did they go?
That's the funny thing, Elizabeth. Nobody seems to know. The company's not clear what they're doing. They're reconfiguring. Maybe something's going to Canada. Maybe there's a plant in Brazil. But the real thing is the trucks are sitting around. People are getting laid off, temporarily laid off. And the economic pain is real.
And what has this done to, you said the unemployment rate, the train goes downhill, but in all seriousness, what has that done to the local economy? There are so many other jobs that are dependent on these factory jobs.
100%. These are good jobs. This is the cream of the crop when you're talking about blue collar America. And with benefits and overtime, you're talking $100,000 a job, 2,500 jobs. There might be another 3,000 jobs going. It seems like 5-6 dozen a week are leaving. And that means hamburger shacks, tennis shoe shops, my mom's flower shop, all of us, we're all in it together. And it's not really being recognized.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you could shine a light on it and we could put it on television. Charlie, great work. Thank you.
Born in Kenya and raised in Indonesia and Hawaii, the son of an American anthropologist and a Kenyan finance minister, he attended Columbia University and worked as a financial journalist and editor for Business International Corporation. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So the whole concept of, like I said, that's 100% legit. The whole concept of whether or not he was born in Kenya was not coming out of racist ideas, right? It wasn't because people were just trying to delegitimize him. It was because he had a literary agent, and that literary agent published a pamphlet, and that pamphlet said that he was born in Kenya. And then suddenly that changed, and they were like, no, never mind. He was born in the USA. That person who published this never gave an answer for why they wrote that. They tried to say like, oh, like that maybe the literary agency just wrote that. Why would anybody just write that you're born in Kenya? It's like a weird thing to write. Okay, it doesn't matter in the scheme of things. He was already president for 8 years, but it's good to go back on that. And then, of course, there was this other odd thing that happened. Like he did, by the way, grow up in Indonesia. That's a fact, right? He, like, the first 8 years of his life were spent in Indonesia. His mother moved him to Indonesia, and he went by a totally different name. He went by the name Barry Soetoro. Here's an old clip of journalist Matt Meager from Inside Edition revealing that truth. Just so you know, these were not conspiracies. Okay, take a listen.
As Senator Barack Obama has made his run for president, some have questioned his background, particularly the 4 years he spent as a child in Indonesia. He was educated in 2 schools, first a Catholic school and then later a public school. Matt Mahar traveled to Indonesia to take you to both of the schools the candidate attended.
This is the Assisi Catholic Grammar School in Jakarta, Indonesia. And Barack Obama is on his way to becoming its most famous former student.
Barack Obama.
The only record of Obama having attended the school is this old register. And look, it lists his name as Barry Soetoro. That's the name Obama took from his Indonesian stepfather, Lolo Soetoro.
Okay, so whatever you make of this, what we know is that Barack Obama was, first and foremost, right after she gave birth, his white mother is the person that raised him, okay? Her name is Stanley Dunham. There she is, right there. That is Stanley Dunham. Okay, he never lied about this. He did not grow up in a household with his Kenyan father at all, Barack Obama Sr., whatever. He was raised by his mother, Stanley Dunham, and then she married a person who worked for the Indonesian government as a geographer. She married Lolo Soetoro, and Barry Soetoro was born. You know, he then moved to Indonesia. He went to school in Indonesia, and then he gets sent back to Hawaii at the age of 10. So for the first 10 years of his life, I'm just going, okay, like he was not exposed to Black people at all. He was exposed to Indonesians, and then he gets sent to Hawaii. to get raised by his exceedingly white grandparents. Here's a picture of his grandparents. That's Madeline Dunham and Stanley Dunham, the person whose mother has the name of her father. So then, yeah, he is in Hawaii as well. And in case you didn't know this, he was extraordinarily wealthy. You probably could figure that out by always moving around. That's why while he was in Hawaii, he was enrolled in a private school. He attended the Punahou School, where tuition is for grades K through 12. Tuition is $31,000 per year. That's today, so you can account for inflation, okay? But that's where his grandparents enrolled him, okay? So it's important to note also that in 1970, when Barry Obama got to Hawaii, there were only 5,925 Black people in all of Hawaii. Okay. And it's worth noting that 80% of those, north of 80% of those 5,000 Black people were in the military. He was not exposed to Black people at all. That's what I'm trying to make the point. Okay. He had literally not a single part of his upbringing was he around Black people. There were no students, no Black students at his very expensive private school. Okay, there's no Black people in Indonesia. And really, for those of you that haven't been to Hawaii, it's still like, it has nothing to do with America. It feels like we just took Hawaii and we're like, yeah, you're America. When you go out there, you're like, okay, this is like its own thing entirely. They look more Asian than anything else. And they're kind of a little pissed off that we took them, if we're being completely honest about Hawaii now. So he went there. His mother went to a school that the same one that his dad went to in Hawaii, the same one that his stepdad went into Hawaii. Really kind of feels like he was a part of some weird military program. And then after that, after going to his $31,000 per year private school in Hawaii, he goes to Occidental College in Occidental University or college, whatever it is, in California for 2 years, where he roomed with a white guy for the first year, white guy with blonde.